Hey everybody, welcome to the Bullseye channel. I hope you're doing well. Today we've got a short video. It's a quickie. Everybody likes a quickie. And we're going to get, so just to highlight an update on the Pardinis. Both of these are empty, as you can tell by the chamber flag. And I'm going to give you an update, right, because I've got 1,000 rounds on this one. I've got 500 rounds on this one. This is the Bullseye one. This is the new rapid fire SP22 high tech. Literally, it's called the high tech. It says it right there, high tech. Yeah. Here's the story. I bought this one, been saving up for it for a long time, and then I was looking at Pardini website. Don't do it. And I saw that they had a green one, and I was like, oh man. Why have one when you can have two for twice the price? If you know the quote, the movie that quote's from, put it below. You'll earn my undying respect. All right. So let's talk a little bit about it. I shot this one the most, right? So main differences, let's just do a quick recap. This one is for Olympic rapid fire, 25 meters, right? The big difference is the bolt is lighter, so it cycles faster, and the weights in the front, the weight system is tungsten. In this one, the bolt is heavier, right? And the weights are steel, right? It still does the same thing, have basically the same sensation like as a category, but a little bit different. And also you can see you can mount, it's got a Picatinny, so you can mount a dot on the front if you want, which I don't. Yeah, that was the main differences. And obviously there's a difference in the color so that I can tell them apart. That's really, really wonderful. All right. So let's just start with the rapid fire. So I was just like juiced to freaking shoot this thing, right? It just looks so cool. I love these little handles. That's probably an update for you. On the Bulls or the non-rapid fire version of this, the standard version of this, they're kind of like big metal, which I would also like. But just like reciprocating this, oh man, it is a dream. As opposed to like the Pop-Tarts that I call them, they're on this one. Not too big of a deal, but when you do it over and over again, you kind of notice a difference. Let's talk about the magazines. So these did not come with metal magazines. These came with the new plastic mags from Pardini. I can't really see it there, but they are Pardini. And I have not adjusted these like by shaving them, but I did not have luck with these. I was getting failures to go into battery all the way. And I just think that they're dragging a little bit. And if you kind of look, like you can kind of see, maybe it's a little bit rough, but I wasn't going to deal with it. I wasn't going to mess with it. I just went and got the metal mags, and the metal mags have been working 100%. So my recommendation, if you end up getting one of these new ones or a new version, they come with the plastic 5-rounders, get yourself some metal mags. And if you know how to fix these, let me know, and I'll give it a whirl, because neither of them are cheap, you know. The trigger, so for those who don't know, Pardini's, you can change the trigger every which way. First stage weight, first stage length, second stage weight, second stage length. Do you want the trigger up? Do you want the trigger down? Do you want trigger forward? Do you want it back? Do you want it tilt to the right, tilt to the left? You can just your little heart's content. With the world's tiniest little Allen key, you can just make every change you want. You can do that on this one as well. When I got this one first, and I monkeyed with it a little bit and kind of didn't get it. But then when this one came, woo, man, I felt this. And again, this is not loaded. And the trigger was exactly the way I wanted it. Just chef's kiss. And by that, I mean, it is like no first stage, and it is right there. Just here, let's do this together. Let's do this together. It's like, it's on it, right? Like there's no pre-travel. There's no bam. And then that is what I like. That's what I like. That's what I like. All right, so I was like, ooh, how do I make that one? This one like that one. And yeah, I know that like you can feel it and you only turn it so bit, but I don't like having a great attention span. And I was like looking in here, I was like, is that distance the same as it is on the green one? And I got this one right to where it was. And it is the same now. Actually a little lighter, I think. Oh man, that is like, whoa, that's the way I like it. Oh, I love the Pardini. And yeah, so I took this one out. So there's just something about, and I mentioned this in some of the other videos, there's something about the combination of the light bolt and the tungsten. I have had the standard bolt and tungsten on my last Pardini. And there's just something about the light bolt and the tungsten that it's so awesome. Because and I quote, this is Jared over at Jared AF, but he had the perfect description, right? He's like, you feel the same recoil with a Pardini that you feel in every other thing, but it doesn't move, right? I mean, it moves a little, but like it just stays right there. And so that's like it's like a mind like, meh, like, is that really right? Because you want to see it move because you're feeling recoil, but it doesn't do it. That's like the magic of the recoil. That's why it's the magic Olympic pistol. But yeah, so that's it. Took it out to the bullseye match. I shot it in a 22 ISC, trained for it a bunch, been doing the lift, right? And it performed really, really well. However, I'd always heard that because of the light bolt, and I've even heard there's someplace on the internet where they claim that the chambering is a little bit looser on these to allow just like real quick, to allow real quick entry and release of the round into the chamber. I don't know if that's true. So if there's a Pardini engineer out there or somebody from Pardini USA, is that true? Is there a different chamber on the rapid fire over the standard? I want to know. But when I took this thing out to 50 yards, I got to say I was a little bit displeased. I shot fine. My scores were fine, right? They're like high 80s, low 90s, exactly where I shoot normally. But I felt like, based on my trigger pull, based on where I was shooting that day, that I was there. Like, I was like, have you given me my Hammerly that day? It would have been high 90s, and I would have just been plugging the 10 ring. With this, I knew I was shooting great, but I just wasn't seeing the accuracy that I expect, right? And I was only like, hey, maybe the internet is right? Maybe, and everybody says like these are developed for 25 meters, right? Take them out to 50. I always thought it was like hokum, right? Like they probably just shoot the same, but I really did feel like at 50, this baby wasn't printing the way that I would have expected. Scores were still fine. I still did great. I came 1x, or really 2x's away from getting 22 EIC points that day. So it wasn't really a limitation. And then when you brought the targets back, this thing was Mr. Automatic. I mean, it was just like, tuck, 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 tuck. I mean, this thing is a dream at 25 yards. So if you want to clean up points on the short line, this is where you want to do it. But that's why they have the bullseye. That's why it says bullseye on the name. So let's move over to this one. So I got this up to 1,000 rounds. That was my goal. And then I brought this one out. Obviously, the sights move a little bit more because it's the steel weights, not the recoil. The feel is the exact same. And I haven't shot this at 50 yet, but just based on what I'm seeing in slow fire and what I'm seeing, I feel like and I have had one of these before, I guess I'll say that too. I just feel like that is true. And then at 50, this is probably what I'm going to want. So it says bullseye on the gun. So, I'm probably going to use it at a bullseye match. I wish that it was like neon blue or like purple or something like that. That would be super cool. But yeah, so this one 500 and feels great. Let's talk about ammunition. I've used a variety of ammunition in both of these. And other than the aforementioned issue that I had with the plastic Pardini magazines, these have both been 100% reliable, no issues. So just to let you know, I use CCI Standard Velocity. I've used CCI Subsonic. I've used Ely. I've used SK, the yellow SK, the SK Standard, SK Special, SK Pistol Match Special, which is like my favorite ammo out there. Used all the good stuff and had no issues. So I think you're going to be good. I think with most of your stuff, most of your Standard Velocity is going to work just fine through Pardini. Some people said these things have malfunctions. Really, other than the mag, I haven't had any issues. With the grip, the anatomical grips, they're both medium rights. One thing I've always kind of, and I think maybe one of the reasons I gave up my last Pardini was I just always felt because they were so easy to shoot, I would find myself under gripping, and that would lead into issues with, when I move on to center fire in 45. I'm trying to rectify that, right, by taking a good, man or strong lady grip when I'm doing it, but I also move my shelf up. You can kind of see on this one, and then on this one, I move the shelf up as well. And have just been having a lot of luck. So I'm going to continue to shoot these bad Larrys. And this one's not going to get a dot on it until I get my 22 distinguished. I came really, really close. So I think my next match is here coming up. I think it's the Ohio Governors. And then that's my last 22 EIC of the year. So fingers crossed, let's get it done. But there you go. That's the recap on the Olympic Super Pistols. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'll answer them below. And remember, these things, they're empty. But 3 rules for life. Rule 1, don't be a jerk. Rule 2, take care of yourself. Rule 3, help other people. And as always, hold hard and shoot straight. Thanks and have a wonderful day.